So, my next challenge is to make a drawer that will fit in here. He only wants a drawer that's half the length of this trailer. And I was looking around on eBay for those, those nice drawer runners for the back of your ute, truck, whatever you want to call it. And just the runners were $260 plus postage. And I went, I think I can do better. So I've never done this before. I've seen it sort of done. I've never seen it satisfactorily done. But I'm going to have a crack, because I reckon I can make the entire drawer, including the drawer runners, for under $100.
Here I'm just working out the hole positions for the bearings that will be supporting the drawer runner. There's a lot of holes that need to be drilled in these bits of flat bar that will become the supports for the drawer runner. And in order to get everything consistent and the same, I'm tack welding the runners together as pairs. And all the holes will be drilled as sets, so there'll be a top set and a bottom set, and when I'm done I'll split those apart and they'll become a left and a right, and the only difference between the left and the right will be the where the sides that the holes will be countersunk on. And it's just a very foolproof way of getting a repeatability without having fancy equipment.
Oh my. What is that, my dear?
Tomato soup.
Tomato soup?
Parmesan cheese, because we bought 2 kilos of it.
Thank you, Costco's, for providing us with 2 kilos of Parmesan cheese that we are now desperately trying to use up. Thank you. Countersunk both sides. So that is the top and the bottom. This is the front, and that is the back. The 2 up and the back are there for a reason. I can't remember what that reason was now, but it was a good one. Just mineral turpentines. It's just good for removing oil. Yes, it's oily, but it's easier to weld through than like full-blown gearbox engine oil, which I'm using as a cutting fluid at the moment. It works. So I'm just going to weld all these now. I'm not going to fully weld it, it doesn't really need it. The countersunk head of the bolt in the steel will be quite sufficient. I just need to stop it from spinning, so when you do it up, it's you can do it up from this side without having to get access to that side, because once this is welded onto the trailer, this will be, you'll never see this again. TIG welding it at 150 amps on straight DC, no pulse or nothing special. Tungsten's ground to a fairly blunt point, it's not too sharp. That will aid penetration. Believe it or not, if you have a really pointy tungsten, you actually don't get very good penetration. You want a slightly less steep an angle. Who knew, right? The reason I want good penetration is because I'm going to be grinding this off flat. So I've got one crack at it, really.
I think I forgot to mention that these bolts are in fact an M10 by 40 mil, I believe. Now, if you don't have access to a TIG welder, it's really simple. Don't use a stainless steel bolt like I am. The only reason I went with stainless steel is because I had a large quantity of these on hand. If you wanted to use mild steel, a countersunk mild steel bolt, that would be fine. Zinc coated or whatever. You could MIG weld it, stick weld it, do whatever you like. And in fact, that potentially could be a better option because it's not going to have the risk of binding up like stainless steel would. So just thought I'd throw that out there.
It's getting close. That looks good. Okay. Readability looks good. So that's just sitting on the bolts that hold the roller bearings. I've only got this side tacked in on this front corner, so I've got some adjustment. Look at that. That's pretty good. Could calm down a little bit if anything. Right there. So now the draw runners are level with each other, which is not parallel to the floor, which doesn't surprise me because seen better days.
I had my wife help me with the bead roller here. This machine's also called a Jenny. And these ribs that I'm putting in the base of the drawer will really just take a lot of the flop and the wobble out and just overall give it a bit more rigidity. Now, the drawer is a two-piece construction, and that's basically because that's how it has to be because my folder and guillotine are only 1250 wide, so I can't make it out of a full sheet, which I would have liked to have done. But it's okay. And as an upside to that, though, the folded joint in the middle here, which I know is a knuckle joint down the center of a drawer, really increased its strength. It's a great way to reinforce the drawer, and overall, I was really happy with how the drawer turned out as far as just the feeling of it and being able to stand in it and sit in it and have basically no flex or sag was really good feeling. Something that I failed to mention, that pretty much all the parts for this trailer are made out of 20 gauge sheet metal, that's 0.9 millimeter thick sheet metal. So it's not exactly the thickest stuff in the world, but you'd be surprised how strong it can be if it's used correctly. These two bits that I'm folding up now are the front and back of the drawer, and you'll soon see me rivet it all together, which I just sped up because it was a bit laborious. But lots of drilling and riveting. And later on I actually drilled all of those out again and popped them off from the opposite side so that it just looked a bit better from inside the drawer.
These will be the stoppers that will, or one part of the stoppers that will keep the drawer from going too far. So this is the same stuff that the rail's made out of, 40x40 by 3mm, and that will fit in the end like that and be welded, and then this tab will be bolted on and removable, and that's what's going to allow you to take the drawer completely out if and when the bearings need replacing or whatever. Just means it's serviceable. I could just weld something like this on the end, but then the drawer would never be removable, and that's the easy thing to do, but it's not the right thing to do. Okay. So, thanks a little touch right in it. So I've gone and folded up these little corner pieces, and they're going to get spot welded in there. So the corners are all finished. I've put an extra run of spot welds along the centre, and I didn't record this because it was just an awkward scene of a guy who really needed 3 hands to do the job properly, but you get the idea. Something else that should be done. Oh, yes. I'll see you in 4 hours. What do you want, kitty? Yeah, well, you know, you're just a distraction, aren't you?